The teasers dropped, the fandom went silent. And in an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down.
Oh, absolutely.
A single notification lights up millions of phones. A screenshot of a sleep tracker is posted, and suddenly, this massive global fandom falls into a completely stunned, heartbroken silence.
It's just, it's a very modern kind of shock, isn't it? Because we
Yeah.
usually associate a global crisis with, like, breaking news alerts on TV.
Right.
But in the modern attention economy, a single image from a pop star's wearable device can literally bring the internet to an absolute standstill.
It really can. Welcome to Starscope K Report. Join us as we ride the Hallyu wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates.
Yeah, from internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we take a deep dive into the whole world of Korean entertainment.
We really do. And today we are unpacking a moment that just shook the music world to its core. We're looking at a desperate plea for privacy from Kim Taehyung, a member of the global pop phenomenon BTS.
And this happened right in the middle of their historic ARIRANG World Tour, which is, I mean, it's unprecedented.
It is. And our mission today isn't just to look at a celebrity complaining about paparazzi, right? We are going to explore the multi-billion-dollar machine that intentionally engineers this exact kind of dangerous obsession.
Exactly. Why is the line between devoted fandom and terrifying stalker getting blurrier by the second? That's what we want to know.
So to do that, we're pulling together international entertainment reporting, tracking the explosive fan reactions happening in real time on Reddit, looking at official legal statements from their agency, HYBE.
And we're also filtering it all through this really fascinating academic paper from the University of Toronto that explores the underlying psychology of K-pop fandoms.
Yes, exactly. So let's just get right into it, because when I first looked at the numbers behind this specific tour, my jaw literally dropped.
Oh, I know. It's massive.
I cannot even fathom the physical toll. Right now, BTS is on the ARIRANG World Tour, which isn't just a big tour. It is the single largest world tour ever attempted by a K-pop artist in music history.
Right, they are breaking records left and right.
We are talking 34 different regions,
Wow.
88 massive stadium dates. Like, moving that many people, the stage production, the sheer logistics of crossing that many time zones, the physical demands alone are staggering.
It is a marathon that requires peak physical and mental conditioning from every single performer. You are basically asking them to be Olympic athletes who also sing live.
And hit every single mark.
Yeah, and interact with tens of thousands of people every single night.
And you have to remember the context of this specific comeback, too. The members have all completed their mandatory military service, which is a huge deal.
Such a huge deal. The whole industry was waiting for this post-hiatus return.
Right. And V just returned from his discharge, and he has been working tirelessly to bulk up. Like, he hit 86 kilograms, sporting this highly praised muscular physique. His visuals are incredible right now.
Unbelievable. He's in absolute peak physical form, ready to give ARMY, the official BTS fandom, the show of a lifetime. They just got a certified all-kill on the charts. The hype is unreal.
It is. And then, right in the middle of all this excitement, on July 1st, 2026, he posts on Weverse.
Weverse being the proprietary fan community platform created by their agency. It's designed specifically for direct artist-to-fan communication.
Exactly. And the post he makes is just, it's heartbreaking. If V is your bias, reading this just crushes you. He is literally begging fans to stop crowding their hotels.
Yeah, he mentions that he prefers not to share where they are staying because the stalking directly affects his condition.
He just wants to step outside, walk the streets, and try local restaurants like an ordinary traveler. The report specifically mentions spots he wanted to visit, like Carbone Riviera, Kota Korean Steakhouse, and Lotus of Siam.
Right, he wants to experience the culture of cities like Madrid and Brussels, but he is essentially held hostage in his hotel room by crowds of people.
But the most alarming piece of evidence wasn't just his words, it was the data he shared alongside them.
Oh, the screenshot.
Yes. He uploaded a screenshot of his sleep metrics just hours before a massive stadium performance. Because of the noise, the chanting, and the crowds camped outside his hotel, he managed exactly 2 hours and 27 minutes of sleep.
2.5 hours.
Right, before performing for over 50,000 people.
And if we dig into the specifics of that tracker, it's actually much worse than just the total duration.
Wait, really? How so?
Yeah, so he recorded only 14% REM sleep and 25% deep sleep. From a physiological standpoint, that is severe sleep deprivation.
Wow.
because REM sleep is essential for cognitive function, memory consolidation, and emotional regulation. If you don't get enough REM, your brain literally struggles to process stress.
Which he is under a mountain of right now.
Exactly. And deep sleep, on the other hand, is when the body physically repairs tissue and builds muscle, which, as you mentioned with his new 86-kilogram training regimen, is highly critical.
Right, you can't maintain that without recovery.
You can't. To expect a human being to perform high-intensity choreography in a packed stadium on those metrics isn't just difficult, it's incredibly dangerous. The risk of physical injury skyrockets.
It's infuriating to even think about. He is sacrificing everything for this comeback, and he's completely exhausted. And the reaction to this online was immediate and explosive.
Oh, netizens were furious.
I was looking at the Reddit threads, and there is a massive divide between the stalkers and the true fans. The domestic Korean netizens, or K-nets, and international fans are largely united in their absolute fury at the people outside that hotel.
The backlash is intense. You rarely see a community police itself with such aggression, but the sense of betrayal within the fandom is incredibly visceral right now.
Visceral is the perfect word for it. One Reddit user, someone who actually traveled to Brussels for the show, wrote a comment that perfectly captures the anger.
What did they say?
They said, "Don't call yourself Army, you're a disgrace, and I hope you get the worst diarrhea 15 minutes before any concert you don't deserve to attend."
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's humorous, but it highlights a very serious internal policing dynamic. The majority of the community recognizes this behavior as an extreme violation of boundaries.
Yeah, they do. But when you see a fandom collectively policing itself like that Reddit thread, it really begs the question. How did these people outside the hotel get so emotionally invested in a stranger's sleep schedule in the first place?
Right. Where does that entitlement come from?
Exactly. As a listener, you might be thinking, wow, some people just take it too far, but there's a multi-billion-dollar psychological machine at work here. And that's not even the wildest part of this comeback.
Not at all.
Because the answer to why this happens actually lies in how the industry intentionally builds these communities.
Yes. There is a fascinating paper from the University of Toronto by Riza W. Taehyung that provides a crucial framework for understanding this. It breaks down why these boundary violations happen so frequently in K-pop.
Okay, so what's the main takeaway from the paper?
Well, a lot of it comes down to a concept called calibrated amateurism.
Okay, calibrated amateurism. Let's break that down because it sounds a bit academic. If I'm reading this right, it's essentially a highly contrived, carefully curated authenticity used by idols. The goal is to establish a deep emotional bond with followers to drive financial gain, right?
That is the core of it, yeah. By appearing slightly unpolished, spontaneous, or vulnerable, the idol creates the illusion that they are just a regular person sharing their life with a close friend.
So it's like when an idol goes live in their hotel room, they're wearing a plain hoodie, eating takeout, the camera's shaking a bit, and they're responding to comments in real time.
Exactly. It mimics a FaceTime call with your best friend.
Or with platforms like Weverse, the notifications go straight to your phone. The interface makes it look like V is texting you directly about his day. It's like a corporate engineered group chat.
That is a brilliant analogy. It is a corporate engineered group chat. The intimacy is mathematically designed, which ties into an older sociological concept Taehyung brings up in the paper from 1956 called parasocial relationships.
Which is basically when your brain is tricked into thinking a celebrity is your actual friend, even though they don't know you exist.
Right. You invest time, emotion, and energy, but the reciprocity is entirely simulated.
And while the Western music industry certainly benefits from parasocial relationships, the K-pop industry is fundamentally built on monetizing them. Like, the industry realizes that your emotional attachment, your love, basically is a resource they can mine and turn into cash.
They're literally farming emotional capital.
Yeah, they want fans to feel a sense of exclusive closeness because that emotional attachment directly translates to album sales, merchandise purchases, and concert tickets.
But there's a massive catch for the artists, isn't there? This illusion of reciprocity comes at a massive cost. Taehyung's paper mentions that to make this work, idols are forced into being a blank slate.
Wait, a blank slate? What does that mean in this context?
So the blank slate is a critical component of farming that emotional capital. To maintain the fantasy that an idol could hypothetically be your best friend or your romantic partner, the idol has to remain incredibly neutral.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they have to censor their true personalities, hide any real romantic relationships, and suppress their actual political or social opinions. They must be perfectly agreeable so that the fan can project whatever desires they want onto them.
Wow. And I think we can all relate to this on some level as consumers. We've all felt that weird jolt when our favorite YouTuber or podcaster changes formats or starts dating someone we don't like, right?
Totally. You feel almost personally betrayed.
You think, wait, I thought I knew you. Now take that tiny feeling, multiply it by $1 billion, and weaponize it. That's what we're looking at here. We are all susceptible to these curated illusions of intimacy.
It is a universal human vulnerability. The attention economy incentivizes engagement, and nothing drives engagement quite like the feeling of personal connection.
But when you actively cultivate the illusion that a fan has a right to an idol's private life, you're blurring the psychological boundaries in a very dangerous way.
Absolutely. And later in the episode, we'll talk about the shocking plot twist involving V's actual privacy that nobody saw coming.
Yeah, we have to get to that. Because what happens when that blank slate gets a smudge? What happens when the illusion breaks? Things get dark incredibly fast. In K-pop, there is a specific term for fans who cross this line into obsessive stalking.
Sasaengs.
Yes, sasaengs.
Sasaengs are the manifestation of parasocial relationships taken to the absolute extreme. These are individuals whose brains essentially fail to distinguish between the marketed girlfriend or boyfriend experience and reality.
Because the app told them they were the idol's friend, they believe they're entitled to physical proximity.
Exactly. They don't just wait outside hotels. They stalk, they hack private information, they buy flight manifests to sit next to idols on airplanes, and they invade personal spaces.
The sources detail just how dangerous this gets, and it's horrifying. The academic paper brings up a past incident known as the hashtag #CutForCookie movement.
Oh, that was so disturbing.
It was. A Sasaeng fan initiated a self-harm movement on social media simply because they believed BTS's youngest member, the Maknae, Jungkook, was in a romantic relationship.
Which perfectly illustrates the danger of that blank slate marketing. When the industry sells the illusion that an idol is single and available to the fans, any evidence to the contrary can trigger a severe psychological break in a deeply parasocially invested person.
They feel a genuine, agonizing sense of infidelity.
Yes.
And it goes far beyond online harassment into terrifying physical trespassing. Let's look at the official Q2 2026 legal update from Big Hit Music, which falls under their parent company, HYBE.
Right, they released a very detailed statement.
They did. There was a severe incident involving Jungkook. A Brazilian woman visited his home 22 times between December 7 and December 28, 2025. She repeatedly attempted unauthorized entry into his private residence.
Think about the psychological mechanism driving that. She went 22 times in 3 weeks. That is essentially daily stalking.
It's terrifying.
In her mind, she wasn't trespassing. She was visiting a person she had been trained by the industry to believe she had a deep connection with.
But to her credit, Big Hit Music's response was swift. They emphasized a strict zero-tolerance policy. They reported that this woman received a suspended prison sentence from the court.
Good. They have to draw a hard line.
Absolutely. The legal update also mentioned a troll who repeatedly spread baseless fake news. That person received a suspended prosecution decision with mandatory educational training on charges of insult and defamation.
So, HYBE is making it very clear that they will track down anonymous hate speech and take the strongest possible legal measures without settlement or leniency.
Yeah, it is a necessary escalation. They have to protect the physical safety of their artists. But if we connect this back to V's current situation on the ARIRANG Tour, we can start to see the immense cumulative emotional toll this takes.
Definitely. He isn't just dealing with the physical exhaustion of an 88-day tour and sleep deprivation. He is fighting massive privacy breaches on multiple simultaneous fronts.
And this is where the story takes a really complex and frankly hypocritical turn regarding the corporate dynamics. I really want to spend some time on this because it blew my mind.
Oh, the court case.
Yes. While HYBE is fighting stalkers on one hand to protect privacy, the corporate machinery itself has been a source of massive privacy violations for V. Let's talk about the Minheejin texts.
Right. Back in February 2026, there was a major, highly publicized court case involving HYBE and the former CEO of their subsidiary Ador, Minheejin.
This was a brutal dispute over a shareholder agreement, unfair audits, and a fight for corporate control over the company.
It was a massive boardroom brawl. But during that court case, private text messages between V and Minheejin were exposed to the public.
Without his permission.
Exactly. The messages were about plagiarism concerns in the industry, specifically regarding the rookie group Elite. Now, V had simply shared his private opinion with an acquaintance in a text.
Like anyone would do.
Right. But those texts were submitted as evidence in this corporate legal battle, completely without V's prior discussion or consent.
It is a staggering contradiction in how the company views an artist's privacy. V was forced to issue a statement on Instagram expressing how disturbed and taken aback he was that his personal, everyday conversations were weaponized in a court of law.
And consider the timing of all this. This happened right before the massive ARIRANG album release on March 20, and their Netflix documentary, BTS: The Return, on March 27.
The stress he must have been under is unimaginable.
It really is.
I want to make sure we are fully unpacking the hypocrisy here.
Yeah.
Because this is the plot twist I mentioned earlier. The idols are pressured by their agency to share their private lives, to use apps like Weverse to maintain this highly profitable illusion of intimacy with millions of strangers.
Yeah, it's their job.
But then their actual private lives, their genuine personal texts to colleagues about industry matters, are casually exposed and weaponized against them in corporate court battles by the very executives overseeing their careers.
It highlights a deeply systemic issue where the artist's privacy is nothing more than a commodity.
A literal commodity.
Whether it's being sold to the fans via calibrated amateurism to boost album sales or utilized as legal leverage in a boardroom dispute to oust a CEO, the boundaries of the artist's personal life are constantly being compromised for external gain.
They just can't win.
They can't.
Yeah.
The artist's actual humanity, their right to a private thought or a private conversation, is completely overwritten by the needs of the corporation.
That is incredibly heavy, and it completely reframes how I look at that sleep tracker screenshot. It's not just about fans outside a hotel, it's about a guy who has zero control over his own privacy from the top down.
It really puts everything into perspective.
It does. And hey, if you love staying updated on your favorites and unpacking the hidden mechanics behind pop culture, make sure you're subscribed to Starscope K-Report. We've got even bigger scoops and deep dives ahead.
Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update. Because when we pull back and synthesize all of these core themes, the reality of the K-pop industry is incredibly complex.
It is.
It is undoubtedly a masterclass in building global communities. I mean, the University of Toronto paper notes that BTS alone generates approximately $5 billion annually for the South Korean economy.
Wait, $5 billion?
Yes, $5 billion. That is an astronomical figure.
That's like 0.5% of the entire country's economy resting on the shoulders of one music group.
Exactly. But that phenomenal success teeters on a razor's edge. The foundation of that $5 billion economy is a system of engineered parasocial intimacy.
Right, it's built on a fragile illusion.
And as we've seen with V's 2-hour sleep cycle, the 22 visits from a stalker, and the leaked corporate messages, that system frequently collapses directly onto the artist's mental and physical health. The industry demands authenticity for profit, but punishes the human reality of the performers.
Which brings us to a really fascinating concept from the academic paper that I want to explore before we wrap up today. The researcher references a term coined by scholar Taehyung in 2011, and it's called fancom.
Fancom, which stands for fan company.
Right. It's a crucial distinction that separates Western fandoms from K-pop fandoms. In fancom, the fans don't just passively consume the media, they actively behave as unpaid public relations teams and managers.
Yes, the level of organization is unbelievable. They organize massive, coordinated streaming parties to break Billboard records. They buy advertising space on buses and in subway stations to promote comebacks, and they actively manipulate social media algorithms to ensure their idols' visibility.
It's literally like being hired for an unpaid internship at a record label, but instead of getting college credit, you pay the label in album sales.
That's exactly what it is.
They do the heavy lifting of a corporate management team. And that leads to a really provocative thought for you to ponder long after this deep dive ends. If a multi-billion-dollar industry intentionally trains you to act as the manager of an artist's career...
Right. If they rely on your free labor to chart their albums, buy their billboards, and defend them online...
Is it inevitable that fans will eventually feel a sense of ownership over the artist's physical body and private time? Where exactly does the employer-employee dynamic end when the ultimate currency driving the whole machine is love?
It's a profound question about the boundaries of digital intimacy and consumer entitlement. When a platform is designed to make you invest that much of your identity, your time, and your emotions into another person's success, the line between supporting them and controlling them can become dangerously blurred.
It really can.
The industry built the machine, but the artist is the one trapped inside it.
A single notification lights up millions of phones. But behind that screen, behind the billions of dollars in the stadium tours, there is a human being who just wants to step outside, eat a local meal, and get a full night's sleep.
Well said.
keep questioning the media you consume.
You've been listening to Starscope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.